How's it going, everyone? And welcome back to another episode of Sip Talk. We are doing a quick little Emmy recap special hot takes with none other than our TV expert, Alex Bauer. Alex, how are you?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you?
I'm doing well. Shit, you've been here enough times. You know what the deal is. Tweets. You got tweets. Pulling up the tweets. First one,
Oh, geez.
September 20th, all caps. Let's go at Zendaya. 3 exclamation points. Hashtag Emmy.
I mean, there's nothing more to say. I don't know if you saw the Twitter madness over her upset. People were mad that people were saying the word upset, but I love that just came out of nowhere. Like she was in a category with Jennifer Aniston, Sandra Oh, some big name people, and she just comes out of here and just takes that Emmy.
Is that her joining the Zoom call? Oh, wait, nope, that's just your virtual background. I know this is an audio medium, but I just had to say that because that is hilarious.
I thought it would make for a good background for
Are you
this.
in a garage?
Am I in the garage? No.
It looks like you're in a garage.
I think it's just the background of the still. I think she's outside near a garage.
No, but I'm talking. Oh, wait. Oh, okay. Yeah, that is the background of the still. I was really confused.
Just throwing some curveballs.
Oh, geez. I mean, I should probably watch the show more. But I mean, obviously you love Euphoria.
Oh yeah.
I was honestly surprised that she won because I didn't think that they would. I mean, I guess it's a new time. I guess a lot of unexpected people are winning it. They're kind of not going with the usual traditional picks. Like, I honestly thought Sandra Oh was going to win it. Was going to win it again.
Yeah, but here's the thing: it's like, how many people have seen Killing Eve and The Morning Show? How many people have seen The Morning Show and have Apple Plus? You know what I'm saying? Like,
That's
those
true.
even though they're like big names, those shows haven't really captured a huge wide audience as much as like an HBO show like Euphoria had when it aired over last summer. It was like the talk of the town for when it aired, and it shows like Euphoria and like Watchmen, who also did really well. That HBO and Succession, that HBO is still number one in terms of TV.
I want to get to Watchmen in a second, but you bring up the morning show like Apple TV. I I heard mixed reviews from the morning show, and most people that I knew who watched the morning show like got Apple TV for that purpose because that was going to be like their big show that'd get people to download
Right?
Apple TV. And then they just didn't. They just canceled their subscription. They're like, yeah, it wasn't really worth it.
No, that's a problem when your focal show, like your focal point of why you're going to bring people, how you're going to bring people to your service, is kind of like meh. Like that's a problem. You know what I mean? Like it had the star power. It had Steve Carell, had Jennifer Aniston, and even Billy Cudrup, who won for supporting. But it just really didn't have like a big. Oh, it doesn't have Reese too. I mean, this show is throwing out like big stars, and it was just like meh, you know. So that's a problem for Apple Plus.
I mean, for me, I think it just goes to show that even with all these different streaming services, everything that's being put out there, friggin' Peacock. Don't even start on Peacock. I'm pretty sure I can get Peacock for free, but
Yeah,
I'm just too lazy. And I don't want to support the corporate machine. How dare they put Man City versus Wolves on Peacock when I'm expecting some Man City Wolves Monday morning? I got my Eggos ready. I had my coffee. Terrible. That's besides the point. It's still coming down to FX and HBO. And it's always a battle of who's going to take home the most awards, FX or HBO, because they keep just. We talked about this a few weeks ago that they are all about quality over quantity. And if I'm FX right now, I'm pissed because I love FX, but goddamn, they took an L. I haven't seen Watchmen, but I feel like I have to watch it now because I love Mrs. America. I thought Miss America was going to have a clean sweep, and they got wrecked by
yeah.
Watchmen, just destroyed. I'm pretty sure FX only got like one. They had so many nominations. What We Do in the Shadows got nominated for comedies, and they took home Best Supporting Actress in a miniseries, and it was the blanking on her name. It was the woman who played Shirley Chisholm in Mrs.
Right.
America.
Yep.
It was a great performance. I honestly thought that she, in the entire show, had the fourth best performance. I honestly thought Margaret Martindale's
Ooh.
performance as Bella Abzug was better, and I thought Kate Blanchett had it in the bag. The fact that Kate Blanchett didn't win, like, I want to say it was a snub, but I haven't seen Watchmen yet. But oh my god, if I'm FX, I'm pissed. You're
Oh,
only taking home one Emmy after your rebrand, after putting everything on Hulu, after putting out all these shows, and you're only taking home one? Like, they gotta come out swinging. Now I have higher expectations for Fargo.
the good thing about the Emmys is that, unlike the Oscars, all these networks and all these shows can have multiple chances of winning. Like, you don't have the Social Network every year at the Oscars trying to win stuff. You know what I mean? Like, it's a one-time thing. Stuff like Fargo and shows that are go multiple seasons. I mean, so what if it doesn't win first or second season? If it can win the third or fourth season, and people are still like, okay, that's fine. So um, I feel like with the Emmys is like sometimes networks have an off year and they don't sweat it because, again, it's just the way the calendar is. Fargo, which is probably FX's most prestigious show in terms of cultural impact and watchability, didn't air in the window that uh, for the Emmys eligibility this year, but next year with that and with Atlanta, I mean, you're going to see FX do much better.
And hopefully Dave gets some nods. We can get into comedy right now, because I remember I was upset that I saw Dave got no nominations. I thought my boy Gata should have gotten nominated for Best Supporting Actor, but I'm kind of glad that they didn't, because they would have gotten blown out of the water by Schitt's Creek. I think that's the biggest story, was clean sweep by Schitt's Creek. I'm a big fan of the show. I love the show. What was your reaction to that?
My reaction was how you said HBO was a big winner. Another big winner is Netflix because that show's streaming rights are on Netflix, and the final season of that show, which just won all these awards, comes to Netflix October 7th. They just announced. So that means a ton of people are going to Netflix in the next month. And I think Netflix is absolutely thrilled to see it do so well on Sunday night.
I think the entire country of Canada is a big winner in that. I mean,
I was
seriously, like, I love the show. It's I'm not like laughing out loud when I watch it, but I can't stop watching because I'm always smiling after finishing an episode, and I'm gonna watch another one. Do I think it's the best comedy of all time? No, I don't. But I do think it was very deserving of a clean sweep, just because I
I thought you were
I
going to bring up one of my tweets.
did I not scour your tweets enough? Hang on. Hang on.
Just my Schitt's Creek
We are
greatest of
browsing. We're browsing. We're browsing. Scrolling up. Scrolling up.
greatest of all
Oh,
time.
wait. Did I pass something? Hang on. Hang on. Where am I at? Oh, it's below the Zendaya. That's why. The takes tomorrow is hashtag Schitt's Creek, the greatest show of all time. Hashtag Emmys. Well, there you
That's
go.
that's where I
Is,
thought the takes were going to be on Monday morning. Was
is it the greatest show of all time? Is it the greatest comedy of all time, Alex Bauer?
it is not, but the way people were reacting to it, it sure was. Don't you think?
I would say the reaction was more along the lines of, not because of the fact that it was a good show and a comedy, but also the representation. Like, it's a very it's a very good show for 2020 and the time we live in. There's the viral video of the cast reading a letter from mothers whose kids are gay, and it was a letter thanking the cast just for shining a light on the gay community, and the entire cast broke down crying. I broke down crying, and it's a powerful show while also being very funny. For me, I think it's weird to judge because it's a show that's popular in the US because it's streaming on Netflix. It's a Canadian show. It's on Pop TV. I don't even know what that
Mm-hmm.
is. Like, I go to Canada all the time and I don't even know what the hell that is. So I just think people don't really know how to judge it and compare it to other comedies.
I think the pandemic helped them because that's what people watched this summer. And it was the most memeable show on social media this summer. And I think people staying at home and watching TV. Well, that goes for all the shows. I think people were very well informed on all the shows that were all nominated this year because that's what people have been doing. But Schitt's Creek being half hour, kind of the laugh out loud, kind of funny, and just filled with like crazy, memorable characters that are known for certain things, that just sticks out with people.
I saw an ad on Sunday Night Football for a new comedy coming to NBC, and it's like people connecting on Zoom, and that's the whole show. And I'm just like, obviously, this was going to happen. It's the laziest idea. And I was just wondering how quick and which network was going to do this. I thought it was going to be CBS. Network comedies, I don't get how those are still alive. I really don't.
True. Yes, true. But I feel like network comedies also in a way are the most comforting. Just like growing up, we're just mostly uh, we're mostly in tune with those that sitcom type of show because that's syndicated a lot on cable, and plus network TV is still has a ring of power to it, I guess. And also when those network comedies are on streaming sites like Netflix and Hulu, those are the most bingeable. People watch The Office still. People watch Parks and Rec still. People love the like 30-minute quick, easy. I can bang on a few right before sleep. So there's still some power to them. It's just that there's there's got to be a way for there's got to be a freshness to it, and sometimes those sitcoms can feel a little stale.
Well, you brought up The Office and Parks and Rec, and those are exceptions because anything Michael Schur touches is pretty much gold. That's why The Office, Parks and Rec, The Good Place are highly rated shows. I haven't seen The Good Place, have heard good things about all those shows, and I like The Office. You're giving me a thumbs down with sticking your tongue out. We'll get into that in a second. But like Michael Schur said, when they created The Office, they wanted to make it timeless. Like they put
Mm,
in a lot of effort to not make a lot of pop culture and timely references because then the plan was if we have this hit show, like we want it on syndication, like a show like Seinfeld. But what they didn't know was that by the time it was done, and you're going to have these streaming services streaming the show, it's the perfect timeless bingeable streaming show. And that's why like everyone loves The Office and everyone binges the hell out of The Office because that's kind of how the show was designed. That show was designed to be put on syndication in the future, but it's really fit the equation even better for streaming. And I also find The Office kind of funny. It's
kind
not a
kind of
bad
funny.
way to
Wait, I have
kill
a
time.
question. Which did you watch first, Parks and Rec or The Office?
I have not seen Parks and Rec.
Oh wow, this is going to get ugly. No, I'm just kidding. Um, Out of those three Michael Schur shows that you listed, Parks and Rec is easily my favorite. Not a fan of The Office, and I'm not a fan of The Good Place. I just find them a little too quirky and kind of in love with themselves a little too much. Where Parks and Rec, I just liked all the I liked all the characters in it. So I guess it's which character cast you like the most. I guess is your favorite because the comedy is all kind of the same.
I feel like in terms of comedy, I feel like I just kind of outgrew the network sitcom thanks to like FX. Like I remember when I was like a kid in middle school, I loved The Big Bang Theory. And then I got to high school and I look back and I'm like, the show kind of sucked. Like the
There's
show actually like kind of sucks.
there's two issues with that. One, the seasons used to be too long, and I think they started cutting down the seasons. Where I mean, no one watches 22 episode seasons anymore, and I think they've hit a sweet spot between like 13 and 18 episodes, which is a much more sustainable. And two, you don't have like How I Met Your Mother is like what, like 13, 14 seasons. The Big Bang Theory is 13, 14 seasons. Like shows nowadays don't have that longevity. but there are still some network comedies that are still pushing boundaries and having fresh ideas like Blackish and The Conners, and before it went off the air, Fresh Off the Boat. ABC really has some really great half-hour comedies still.
But I think these like networks like HBO and FX and now like Hulu and Netflix, like they can just make edgier comedies. Like I
True.
remember I used to love watching Modern Family, but like when Modern Family first came out, that was like the edgy comedy. Like
True.
that was pushing the boundaries. That was edgy. They have a homosexual couple and like a Latin person. Like that was that was a groundbreaking edgy comedy. And then I probably stopped watching after a few seasons. Maybe, and I still like the show, but you look at it now, like it just wrapped up pretty recently, and like that's now like kind of a safe comedy, honestly.
So I'm kind of going back in the past maybe like 10 years and see comedy winners at the Emmys. Um, and it shows like Fleabag and Marvelous Miss Maisel, Veep, and Modern Family won a couple times. So I feel like even though Veep and um, mostly Veep, yeah, is I think its roots are coming from that half hours or network comedy. But you're right; those shows on like HBO and like Amazon Prime and stuff like that, they can just be much more edgier, which they are, and people do respond to that. But I think you still have the root of that like wholesome network kind of comedy still in some of these shows.
We look
And
at a show.
Fleabag's just in an island off of its own. Like, that show is 100%, 100% British. You know what I mean? Like there is nothing American about it.
Well, I remember when Rami Youssef won his first Emmy. It was either last year or the year before for his show Rami, and I loved the show Rami
Mm,
because it's a Hulu original. It's so different, and it was edgy, it was awkward, it was cringeworthy. And then this past season with Mahershala Ali was really good, and I'm happy they got nominations. They weren't going to win because of Schitt's Creek, but like I don't know, I feel like that's a type of show that I want to watch. I like the edginess. I don't really like when I watch a comedy, like I kind of want to cringe sometimes. I want to feel a little uncomfortable sometimes. I don't really like safe comedies anymore, except for something like I feel like Schitt's Creek, even though I wouldn't say that's like a what I would consider like a safe like network comedy because they don't really play it safe, but they just do such a good job of making the awkwardness and the edginess very lighthearted and coming from a place of love.
right.
So maybe that's why the show has just had such an amazing response.
Yeah, and I guess people again are responding to the current climate of what they want to watch. I mean, I could speak only for myself. I find myself kind of ending my day with kind of a wholesome comedy that I'm kind of used to, and I really don't want to. I don't really go on the edge because anytime you turn on the news, you're thrown off the edge. So, you know, I'll end my days with like The Simpsons and stuff like that because it's just like nostalgia. I guess we go back to the nostalgia thing. You know what I mean? Like something that we're used to. So, it's even though there's a lot of shows that you can still watch, I still feel like people are tied to like the 10 shows they watched growing up still, you know?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I still love Family Guy. Even though the newer seasons aren't as good as the old ones, I love it. I'm excited that Family Guy is still a show, especially right now. There's not a whole
I,
lot. South Park, 1 hour season premiere special. Very excited. Hell, like I'm still watching Tosh. I mean, Tosh last week, he still got it.
you still
Hilarious.
got it.
New Tosh tonight. I'm excited.
Um, throw in Throwing a curveball. Have you seen Succession?
I have not. My mom's seen it. She's told me to watch it. She says it's very good. My watch list is a mile long. Plus, we got Fargo coming up. I mean, come on. You betcha.
Fargo Fridays.
Let's see. The
It's
episode are is it a Tuesday or a Thursday show?
I thought it was Tuesday.
We could do Fargo Fridays because I usually release episodes on Tuesdays. So we can watch on
True.
Tuesday, take notes, let it sink in, do a little Fargo Friday, you betcha, to get people eased into the weekend before the next episode.
This is just a golden idea.
I'm going to piss off so many people from Minnesota because I'm just going to have a really thick, bad accent. And they're going to say, oh, we don't sound like that. You do. I've been to North Dakota State. 100% sound like that.
Really?
Oh my God. Like, I have been to Fargo. And when I was at the North Dakota State bookstore getting some FCS championship gear, just thick. Like my brother and I almost broke down we broke down laughing in the car because we didn't think it was real. And we've always heard that, oh, they exaggerate on the show. Nope. They don't exaggerate it enough.
Getting some Carson Wentz gear.
I think that was that the year? No. What year did Carson Wentz? We were there in 2015. So I think he was still the quarterback.
I mean, that's the only North Dakota State player that I ever know.
What about Easton Stick, his successor?
Doesn't ring a bell.
How about that?
Did you have any Emmy hot takes?
I would say my hottest take was, how dare you disrespect Mrs. America like that, but only giving it one Emmy. But I feel like there's a whole crowd of people who've actually seen Watchmen who are going to be like, you don't know what the hell you're talking about. And I don't have a response because I haven't seen the show.
I feel, and I think with the Emmys, you have different years where different categories are just brutal in terms of the star power. And I feel like limited series this year was just packed. I mean, it was Miss America versus Watchmen, and I was reading a take about the show where it was a good Emmys because there wasn't really a winner that you were like, oh man, like why did they win? Like all the winners felt deserved, and I kind of agree with that. I felt like even though you may have been upset that Miss America didn't get the Emmy glory, like Watchmen winning, it's still like okay, like that's acceptable. Like that was an awesome show, and so I would guess we can walk away all winners, which is a positive take.
I have a hot take. You're not going to like this.
Oh God, I'm nervous.
The Last Dance did not deserve an Emmy.
Wow, that is a hot take. That was what, best documentary series?
I think so. It won something in the documentary category.
I think it was best documentary series. Can I hear your case against it?
I thought that it was very overhyped.
Ooh.
It was a solid documentary, but it was just ESPN pandering to sports-starved sports fans and just trying to make them relive these like glory days of Michael Jordan Bulls basketball by giving fans what they need in the time they need it most: sports. And like, it was a fine documentary, but I've seen better. I've been more engaged. And also, like, even before the pandemic, you could tell they're just going to make this unnecessarily long because ESPN needed something to put on during like Sundays during the summer or something like that. And they pushed it early because of the pandemic. It was a fine documentary, but I mean, no, I thought it was overhyped.
You can't let hype dictate whether it's a good documentary or not, because the documentary can't control the hype. That's just people hyping it up.
I mean,
So
it could have. I mean, it was...
But I'll say this, as a Bulls fan, I enjoyed it thoroughly.
Yeah, no shit, you enjoyed it. You were a Bulls fan.
I do think that you could feel it kind of being rushed, because it was rushed. I mean, it was set for like June, and I think it came out in like April, just because of the pandemic. So I just don't. I just didn't agree with how they told the story and how frequently they went back and forth between early MJ and the last season.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Was just
I don't think it should be called The Last Dance, because
well, that was my problem, was that they didn't fucking get to the last dance. There's so many dances.
Right.
There's 6 dances. I'm like, it's called The Last Dance. I don't want to watch 5 other dances right now.
I agree with that. I mean, I thought it was too back and forth. I think they should have just kind of went basic and just did the life of MJ or the MJ's Bulls career, and I think that would have been a little bit more enjoyable and a little bit more made sense, I think. But again, as a Bulls fan, I enjoyed it thoroughly.
Giving it an Emmy has set, the precedent has been set, and giving it the Emmy has only encouraged the super docu-series about one person because they're already planning a Tom Brady one.
Well, you know what's coming is the Kobe one because
It's gonna
last
be
season,
it's gonna be the Kobe one. It's gonna be a Brady one. Like it's all just gonna be like it's gonna be over the top, and everyone's gonna be like, "These are the greatest documentaries ever." And it's like just because they're big and long and about a big star doesn't make them the best sports documentaries. Like I could name countless 30 for 30s that were maybe an hour or 2 hours that were better than The Last Dance.
and you know which one's worse was the Sammy and Mark McGuire one. That one was terrible.
Yeah, that one was okay. I was, I'm
Which
a big.
followed the Last Dance. That was the next ESPN doc that came after the Last Dance was the Mark McGuire, Sammy Sosa one, and it's just like that's a tough act to
No,
follow.
no.
Oh no, it's the Lance
It was
Armstrong one.
Lance, and that one was
Oh,
good.
was it? I didn't watch that one.
Lance was good. I mean, maybe you should watch documentaries that aren't just about Chicago teams, Bauer. They're going to run out of ideas. Who'd be like, oh my God, I'm not even a White Sox fan, but I'm from Chicago, and this 2005 Paul Konerko documentary might be the greatest thing I've ever seen.
Well, see, you're wrong there because ESPN doesn't formally recognize the 2005 Chicago White Sox. Anytime that that season comes up, they mysteriously just ignore it, which I don't get. But whatever.
All right. That was a nice, quick little Emmy recap. It was really easy to recap because like only two shows won.
Yeah, but two deserving shows. You should definitely check out Secession. It's filled with comedy and what the fuck drama.
Yeah, long watch. I don't know. Watching Tosh tonight.
There you
I,
go.
I,
Well,
I pride myself on being this highbrow, classy TV viewer, and I'm watching Fargo and
I
FX shows and HBO. But I'm just like, no, I'm gonna watch people puke on Tosh.0 tonight.
I'm gonna bring this full circle and saying I was very worried about the Zendaya winning because that show aired last summer and like the hype I thought had died down. And I feel like that's a problem with how with TV is in our culture is that like it airs and then people forget about it. So like the new Atlanta season doesn't come out till like next year. It's been forever since that aired. You know what I
It's
mean?
been
Like people
3 years since Fargo.
right, exactly. And it's
People
just like
forget it's a thing, but I like the hidden gems. I mean, hell, I'm looking at the outstanding documentary. Tiger King was nominated. That show seems like an eternity ago.
it does. You're right.
Great
So I just
documentary. Better than The Last Dance. How about that?
oh I your house is burning now because that is a hot take. I think that's the hottest take you've had on your show since the inception.
That Tiger King is better than The Last Dance?
That is flaming hot.
I mean, look, everyone knows I'm Michael Jordan. Oh, he talked mad about me. I won a championship. Uh, Someone didn't wave back to me. Boom, I won a championship.
So what did we learn
Same old,
today?
same old. And
What did we
also,
learn?
we're praising a guy who's an asshole. Like Michael Jordan's an asshole. Like we all know that, right? That entire documentary praised the guys for just being a dick.
So what we're learning is you're not an MJ fan.
I mean, I'm not gonna. We don't. I mean, I can go on about like MJ and Brady and Kobe. Yeah, they're very good at what they do, but they're being immortalized for winning a game. And I love sports. And like, yeah, they deserve to be immortalized because they were good at the sport that they did, but to praise them like gods, no, like because other than winning, what did they actually do?
I don't think the Last Dance praised MJ like a god. I
No,
mean,
but it's the response. That's why I'm saying
okay.
that they're going to make a Kobe documentary like The Last Dance. They're going to make a Brady documentary like The Last Dance. And I'm not talking about the documentary itself. I'm talking about the hype behind it. It's being like, it's amazing, greatest thing ever. Like they're the greatest of all time. They're the greatest of all time at their sport. But like look who you're like praising. Like we're not making these big documentaries about freaking Jackie Robinson or Bill Russell.
Well, Ken Burns has has a great Jackie Robinson one that I recommend people checking out because it's a fantastic
Well, that just
documentary.
ruins my whole argument then.
But two, I
Tiger King's
think
still better than the last two.
my last point is I think the MJ one came at a timely situation in terms of the NBA because I feel like people younger generation kind of grew up without watching MJ. Whereas like the Tom Brady one, if that came out like in the next 2 to 3 years, it's like he's still playing. You're like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't think would have the same power as like the MJ one because I was still young enough to not remember a lot of that. You know, I was young enough where I remember like seeing MJ, but I don't remember any of the highlights or the games or any of that stuff. So for me, it was cool to see that.
How old are you?
How old am I? I'm not going to reveal my age on this podcast.
I just realized I don't know how old you are.
I was born in '93.
You're born in 93?
Yeah.
Oh shit, I thought you were my brother's age.
No, I'm an old man.
What the hell are you doing on a 21-year-old's podcast then?
Time to go.
I'm Pete Sippis. This is Sip Talk. Thanks for listening.